on the show. So come on in and take a seat. Warrior class, we got the keys. Doom, 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 doom. To get you where you need to be, just study our show, and you're gonna grow like crazy. Watching you will see. Doom, 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 doom. Warrior class, we got the keys. Just watch our show, 'cause it's for you and your babies.
Peace.
Greetings.
Greetings. How you doing, Ominiki?
Doing well. How are you, Baba?
I'm doing pretty good.
Great.
How's everybody out there? Greetings, Emmanuel, Zach, Elusive Views. How's everybody doing? Belay won't be with us today. He is at his family reunion.
Yep. So good for him.
Yeah, but I believe he will be back with us next week. So,
Good. Did you have any news to share, Baba?
the only news I have to share is make sure you're with us on June 22nd. Dr. Jared Ball will be in the house with us
Oh, yay.
as our special guest, and we'll be talking about the plight and plague of anti-intellectualism, its effects on our liberation,
Absolutely.
lack thereof, and
A worthy topic.
that came to my mind because June 22nd is my father's birthday, and he was big on railing against anti-intellectualism.
Okay.
Now, he would always tell us we had to be street smart and book smart.
Right.
That was his big thing. And he loathed the character J.J. Evans because to him, J.J. Evans was created as a character that was an anti-intellectual. You know, he's always messing up in school, and it was like that's the running joke. And he was like, anti-intellectualism is not a joke.
Right.
Since then, it's gotten worse. Like I remember the Transformers. There were two of them that sounded black, and they were like, "Man, reading this for chumps." I said, "Man, this is some garbage." I went to the theater. I walked out. That's one of two movies I walked out on. I can't remember the Transformer number 3 and when first of all they had the brothers sounding like brothers. I mean the machines sound like brothers, and they were the two dumbest ones.
Ignorant.
And the one, reading this for chumps. I was like, I'm out. I got them left.
Yeah, that's so good.
Good morning, Noble Brown and Darian. Peace, everybody.
A lot of that really plagues like some of the even popular culture that we deal with. Like I noticed yesterday, or I think it was this morning, the whole big back thing, which is obesity, basically, but it's this cute term now where you just have a big back. Instead of you like you're extremely overweight and you need to do something about it right now. You just have a big bag, and they have this cute little
video. Got that linebacker back.
Yeah, eating these like huge portions of food, or making these ridiculous drinks that should make you sick, basically.
Now, on that,
for a big bag.
Do you remember the show? I believe it came on Netflix. It was Super Size Me.
Yeah. Morgan
Spurlock. Yeah, he just died.
Size Me was a movie.
Huh? He was a documentary
movie, but he had a show called 30 Days.
Yeah. So Super Size Me, was a documentary.
Right.
But yeah, he just died.
Yeah, I saw him. I think it was cancer, they said, but he had
one too many
alcoholism.
One too many supersize and supersize cups of alcohol and big
Right.
ass French fries.
Right. I don't know if he really ate McDonald's in real life, but yeah.
Well, I don't even know if he actually did it for the show.
Right.
Because the amount to only eat McDonald's, how long did he do it? 90 days or something?
No, it was 30 days.
30 days. That's terrifying to me.
Yeah. Well, it said he gained 25 pounds in the 30 days.
And he was throwing up just,
Mm-hmm.
out of nowhere.
Yeah, that sounds like that's what would happen to you.
I wouldn't do that to myself for a documentary.
Right. Yeah. But some people try, and it did gain him notoriety, so it worked.
Yeah.
But, some people just trying to get known. So.
But I mean, it can. I mean, I could do a documentary. I'm gonna walk down the street and just randomly punch guys in the face and see what happens.
That would be your documentary,
and it would give me notoriety. Something else too, probably.
Probably, yeah, several somethings else. I did have a piece of news. I actually it was something that happened to me a few weeks ago. And I was going to share it last week, but I think we had so much news last week that, we really needed to get into the topic. So, again, sometimes I feel like I'm preaching to the choir when I'm talking to the family here, because I know a lot of the people who actually watch Warrior Class probably wouldn't have this issue. But there may be someone who watches it who isn't part of our regular audience who may, that this might be helpful to. I work in a lot of different settings. Some of them are hotels, and the place where I work full time is a hotel. So I was working there, and there's a few different floors that we work on. We use a service elevator, because that's pretty typical when you have like a large staff running somewhere. You might have a different elevator for them to get on. Mm-hmm. So I took the service elevator down to this one floor on a Saturday night. And when I got there, it was completely dark, pitch black, no lights at all. Now, I happen to have someone with me who is someone who I trust. So he helped me navigate out of there. We found some place that we could get a source of light pretty quickly, and we got out of there. And I didn't go back to that area of the hotel. I didn't work for maybe like 3 or 4 days there. But I ended up coming back to that area. That was a Saturday. I think maybe the following Tuesday or Wednesday, I came back to that area, and it was still like that. Like, it was completely pitch black. Something happened with the electricity, I guess. And no one was doing anything about it. Like, no one had gone to, it's a hotel, you could go get lamps or do something so that you can light the back, so that it's safer for people. Also, and I'm not trying to demonize the homeless, but this hotel is right in downtown Atlanta, and there are constantly people wandering in off the street. So to me, that makes it especially dangerous to not be able to see at all, when you go to this area. So in order to actually get light there, like, I had to make a big stink about it. I'm not a supervisor or anything like that, but I made a big stink about it to every supervisor who I saw in a few, in a small time frame. And all of a sudden, they started bringing lamps down there. They started doing different things. They sent someone from engineering down to check and see what was going on with the lights and all of this. And I was just thinking, I think it's because of you, Bob, because of my training. Like, every time I would be in that area, my heart would be racing a little bit, because I would be thinking about the possibilities of what could happen while I was there. You going past doorways, because there's doorways. So anyone could be in the door. There's so many variables. So they finally got it lit up. And what it made me think about, like I said, with my training, is that there are a lot of times when we're in work situations that we may be in danger, and we don't say enough about it. So my point is to empower people who see this, that, it doesn't matter what your station is at whatever place you're employed. If you see something dangerous, do not let it go. I don't care what you're supposed to be doing, make sure that you continue to mention it until it is fixed, because you never know what could happen. And as we all know, with these jobs that we go to every day, these people don't care about us. If something happens to you, they'll have someone else in your place in 2 or 3 days. They'll call a temp and have a temp doing your job tomorrow. So, make sure that you're keeping yourself safe, whatever situation that you're in.
They may cover up what happened to you.
That too. It make it seem like it was your fault. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we did a episode on not being able to see, where we blindfolded ourselves for the entire episode.
Yeah,
but we probably need to do one on illumination, the importance of it, the dangers of the lack of it. Because a lot of times we don't think about that,
right?
Nowadays, but in the old days, or if you go to West Africa, I don't know about the other part, but West Africa right now, you could easily be without power, so without lights, and there are no street lights in Nigeria, at least. So, Oshogbo, there are in Lagos, but so if you're in the bush, they call it, so in one of the Bomasho or Lagos or Ile-Ife or Ode Remo, and the power goes and it's night, it's just pitch black. You can't see nothing. So that's a concern for them.
Yeah,
still, not just the lights, but the heat, because you can't get air, and the fan aren't working and stuff like that. But that's very important.
Absolutely.
There is, from games to movies, dealing with if your light goes out, what happens, right?
Right. We talked about that.
In the days of torches, you got a torch, and they would talk about going down. So if you had to descend into tunnels or something, they would talk about it's 3 torches deep. That's how important light was. It's 5 torches deep. So okay, 3 torches have gone. It's 5 torches deep. We got 2 more torches, and we got to get up out of here.
Right.
And it was that important. Whenever I leave out at night, even in my neighborhood, we don't have down the block, we don't have street lights. I always have my flashlight with me anyway.
Yeah, Bob.
So yeah, that was a dangerous situation you were in. I'm glad that nothing happened. And we know how hotels can hide things. Everybody probably knows about the Diddy situation with Cassie.
That too. I remember the young woman who wandered into the freezer. I think that was in Chicago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they there was a big cover up with that, if I remember correctly.
So,
and that actually is funny. Well, it's not funny, but that happened here to a hotel employee, and I don't know if it was in the news, but I worked in hotels at the time, and it happened. The woman who it happened to, some people who I know knew her. It was an older woman. She got locked in a freezer, in a hotel over the weekend, and she died because she was a older lady. I don't know if she thought about like jamming something into the fan to stop it from functioning. But yeah, she died. Like, it being inside the freezer killed her.
The last time me and Belay went to Richmond, Virginia, we were up in Richmond, Virginia. We had our own rooms. separate rooms. I'm sitting in my room, and I hear the door open. And normally I put the little bar thing over, but me and Billy were going in and out, so I had it up. He would come down to the room, we just talk or whatever, and then we head out. So the bar wasn't on, and the door opened, and this strange white man came walking in, and he almost crapped his pants because he got a knife almost to his throat. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not a danger. Well, you saying you're not a danger makes me even more curious, and more alert. But turned out the hotel gave him my room by accident, I guess, and gave him a key. Had disabled my key. I was like, I'm still in the room. What are you doing? And it was paid for, for that whole week. So I'm like, what are you doing? Like, oh, we're sorry, sir. We'll give you a new room. No, I got all my shit in here. Give him a new room.
Exactly.
And he even said, what are y'all doing? You're gonna displace us? And I said, oh, no, they're not. They're not gonna displace me. But I appreciate it. So I'm not moving my stuff, and it's your fault,
So odd.
But imagine if I had been asleep or something.
Right.
And that dude had been on something. So that was real dangerous. And as I'm getting ready to work on this screenplay, I realized my notebook is gone. I said, wait a minute, my shoes are gone. They had been in the room anyway and moved some of my stuff. So I had to go downstairs and wouldn't have got it back, but the lady who's the head of security liked me. And I'm talking about, liked me. And be like, hey, man, she, I say, yeah, I don't care. But I'll work this if I can get my stuff back, as long as you get my stuff back. So she brought my stuff back to the room. So I'm like, all right, thank you. You can leave now. You're lingering too long. Thanks. So she got my stuff back. It was I said, well, what was it? Somebody had put it in the lost and found. Somebody who could have come in the room?
Who was in the room?
They were going to steal my shit. They were going to steal my shoes. And I guess they figured they just get a nice notebook because it was a nice, leather-bound notebook. I have a screenplay in here. So that too, just be careful, you all. Now, normally, like my medicines and stuff like that, I hide that. I keep my tools on me.
Right.
Every time I leave the room, because those definitely would have been gone.
For sure.
And they said,
not in the lost and found.
Right. We can't find them. We don't know where those are. So just be careful with the hotels, y'all.
Yeah, most definitely.
Manuel Briggs said, wow, hotel almost got him killed. Exactly, because I didn't know who he was. The only reason I didn't just really grab him and slam him and maybe put one in him is because he was older.
Oh.
I had to step to him. Right. I'm older too, but he looked older. He looked older than me, but when white boy, I said last week, he could have been 30. But he looked 60, but he could have been, not that I'm that far from 60, but he looked every bit of 60, so he may have been 32 years old. I don't know, but
that's true.
All right, y'all. So we're gonna get into it. This week is debunking gun and knife BS. It was just on me. Conversation came up somewhere, and I was like, this person doesn't know what they're talking about when it comes to guns or knives, but they're looked at as an expert in self-defense. Always, karate ain't self-defense. So I'm just making that clear. And the person didn't do karate. They did do a martial art though, but that's why I'm using karate to not just totally reveal who they are, but they know who they are. But karate, Wing Chun, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, those are not self-defense. If you do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, sorry that bothers you, but that is not self-defense. Self-defense entails being able to defend yourself in any situation. Not all martial artists with sensei don't. The best self-defense is to not be there.
Yeah, bro.
That's just common sense. Don't be where the danger is. But if it's unavoidable, somebody's about to hit me with a baseball bat, and I drop onto my ass and reach out like they're gonna just grab my hand. I pull them into my guard. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, while effective on the ground, is not self-defense. Okay. Somebody said, how about capoeira? Do y'all see that as viable self-defense? Capoeira is capoeira. I like capoeira. That's all I'll say on that. Now,
it's pretty.
Can it be used as self-defense? Yes, but one of the main things in self-defense is mindset, and the mindset of most capoeiristas is dancing. In fact, I had a conversation with a high-ranking capoeirista, right? What they call them? Contra maestre. That's before maestre, like assistant instructor type of. And
what language is that?
Portuguese.
Okay.
All that stuff is in Portuguese. So he tells me, and that's another thing when talking about mindset that I'm gonna go into real quick. But he tells me, hey man, forget all of this fighting and self-defense stuff. Just dance. I said, and I normally don't call us niggas. We're at a cookout for all intents. I said, nigga, get away from me. Just like that. Nigga, get away from me. I didn't want him in my space, Mumbizi Jumbayo. I did not want him in my space with that foolishness. Okay. And that's he's not the only one that has talked to me in that manner about the dance and stuff like that. Okay. Now, what else I was going to say something else about mindset?
The Portuguese thing.
Oh, the Portuguese. So, one person I was training, he's high-ranking capoeirista. The brother who told me just dance, they're both under the same maestre, which is master. Okay. So this brother training with me, and every time we would wrestle, he'd be grimacing. I don't like the wrestling, right? But trying to be, because I always say, okay, this is a student. I got to walk him a certain way so he can say certain things that may be disrespectful, but he's new.
Yeah, bro.
He should know better because he's an instructor himself, but hey, he's new. So I said, well, you know what? Since Capoeira Angola is low to the ground and you're in such great shape, you teach us exercises from Capoeira for the exercise we do before we train. So I'm like, we're being like hard like iron training with you like that. And so he likes that, and so the next week we're about to train and we're ready to get down, start stretching and negachiva and bingachiva, doing all the back flips and back bends and shit. He starts telling us the history of capoeira. I'm looking at the other students. They looking like they smelling shit. One student, a sister, says, man, This is some bullshit. We're supposed to be teaching us this. He said, you must know the history beforehand. Like, man, look, just stretch us out. I'm like, I'm gonna let them handle it. So he said, okay, let's stretch. Everybody, now I teach indigenous African martial arts. We speak in an African tongue when we count and different.
Yeah, bro.
He says, C, nah, while we stretching. So people are like, what's this? He said, you must speak Portuguese when you practice capoeira. I'm like, what? And I said, hell, where the hell your Portuguese accent come from? You're from the hood in California. Where you get the Portuguese accent from? And then he's like, when I counter in the Portuguese. I said, dude, if you keep talking like that, I'm gonna knock you back into where you from. Stop it. And so he just everything is just, and so one student was like, man, you know what? Y'all done lost all your Africanness. When you talk about it, it has an African root.
Right.
He's like, when I look at the berimbau, I can see the bow. That is not used as a bow. The berimbau comes from the berimbau, how they say it. It comes from so and so. He was like, yeah, but it could be used as a bow. He's like,
is that the instrument? The
one thing. He said, even thing that you playing with, it's a coin and then it's a stick. He said that's the arrow right there. It's not. It's called the so and so. It cannot be a bow. I mean, he was just angry to even think of the berimbau as a tool. I said, well, I tell you, one tool it could be used. You just bust a motherfucker upside the head.
Right.
You tell me it can't be used for that?
Every block is a strike.
Right. Every strike is a block. And y'all think on that one, right?
Yeah,
so everything can be a tool.
Absolutely.
Everything around me right now I could use as a tool. And it can also, every tool around me can be used as something else.
But that shows a lack of wholeness in the thinking. Right.
And that means a lack of wholeness in thinking means a lack of wholeness of your mind.
Right.
To break it down to its simplest compound, so your mind isn't whole.
Yeah, bro.
Or there's a hole, HOLE, in your mind.
Right, in the logic.
The mindset is everything. I can teach you all the techniques in the world, but if you're a coward, you're not going to use them anyway. You're not going to use them anyway. Give me 10 untrained men and women who are brave versus 100 trained men and women who are cowards. Because the coward ain't going to do shit. Coward is, for all intents and purposes, worthless. Although they'll kill you, though.
Right. It's like a drowning person. They'll drown you.
Yeah, my grandfather taught my mother that there was a person drowning in the river in Yazoo City, I guess the Gulf of Mexico, really. But he's drowning. My grandfather goes to save him. Dude starts panicking. My grandfather still slept, but he shot him. The dude passes out. Then he pulls him in the boat. And then he said,
folks.
He said, I shot him because he's panicking. He'd have killed both of us. But I took all that panic out of him when I put that when I put that bullet goddamn in his collarbone. That took all that that panic out.
Isn't Yazoo on the Delta? Couldn't it have been the Mississippi River?
Yeah, it's the Mississippi River. It's the Mississippi River. Yeah, that's why they call it the river. I guess it's the Mississippi River. But yeah, it's the mouth of the Delta, I guess you.
Right. That's where my folks are from too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they're from Belzoni.
Yeah. My mother from Yazoo, my father from Vaughn, which is, the hills. My mother called my father Hillbilly.
Oh,
She's from
wow.
Yazoo, calling
Right.
Hillbilly. And so,
Yazoo is very small. Like,
yes.
I mean, spitting distance, they call it.
There was a rumor that my mother said, one of our cousins, she said, she told me 85% of the people there have AIDS. When AIDS first came out, everybody said, I started cracking up. I said, Mama, 85% of the people there have AIDS. Everybody in Yazoo going to be dead in a few months.
Shortly.
It's small as heck, Ma. How 85% of any place? Because you didn't know, but when COVID started, my mother hit me up. Well, she lived here in Atlanta when COVID first started, and she heard from her cousin, another cousin, Doris. Our cousin be jacking my mom up with stuff.
Right.
So
Country
she called
story.
me, this new thing, coronavirus, because people weren't saying COVID-19 at that time.
Right.
I said, yes, ma'am. She said, Doris said, that's one of my cousins. She said, it looks like the apocalypse in the street. People just rolls of people dead in the streets. Whoa. I said, Mama, and we ain't heard nothing about this from the other family members, from the news. Nothing has said just droves of people, just hordes dead in the streets.
Wow.
Like it's the battlefield or something during World War II. I said, nah, Ma. It's not, it can't be true. It can't be true. I said, now, somebody said, is that Kemper County? I think it's Yazoo County.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I know Belzoni is in Humphreys County.
Yeah, I think Yazoo
is capital of the world.
And now there is good catfish in Mississippi. I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah, I don't think it's the catfish capital anymore either. There's probably someplace in China now. I would guess, seriously.
That's probably not even real catfish, but anyway, that's some plastic. So a sister here in Atlanta went to, but it was Korean stuff, it wasn't Chinese. But she went into a Korean fishery, and she's filming, like, look at this fish. It's supposed to be red snapper, and she picks it up. Those plastic eyes, they go like, it had those on it. She's like, this ain't no real fish. You had the plastic eyes.
Terrifying. I fear for people who that stuff.
Hey, somebody, yeah, but you don't know if you getting real catfish from China. Exactly. That's what I said too. That's what I just said. Hybrid Frankenstein catfish. Well, them googly eyes are plastic. So maybe it was but that was snapper. Maybe the snapper didn't have eyes or something because it was a hybrid, so they had the eyes to it.
So they put the googly eyes.
Put the plastic googly eyes on there.
They should have just cut the head off. That's crazy.
The googly eye, and they should have put, those glasses with the Groucho Marx nose. They should
right.
Since they gonna go fake anyway, just put the glass with the Groucho Marx nose on the fish. So, do fish? That's a question for you all, and you shouldn't have to think too long. Do fish have noses? Do fish have noses?
Are you asking me?
Yeah, do fish have noses?
Yeah, I think so.
And in the chat.
Huh?
And in the chat too. So fish have noses. You think fish have noses?
Well, I don't know that what I'm thinking of as a nose wouldn't function the same way that our noses work, because of course they breathe through their gills. But they do have something on the tips of their, I guess, faces.
I can tell you haven't eaten fish in a long time. Because if I catch a fish out back,
I'm not saying it looks like this.
It got a proboscis. I'm out.
Oh, Yapo says they have nostrils.
Yes, but those aren't actual nostrils.
That's what I'm saying. But it's in the same place.
Because our nostrils, but it's not no nose there. It is nostrils, but I don't think they call nostrils because they don't breathe through those.
Right, but they still have something. Yeah. I agree. Me and Yapo are in alignment. Thank you. And thank you for I saw your first comment, Yapo. Welcome to the chat.
Let's see. Yes.
And don't be laughing at me, Emmanuel Briggs. Huh?
I gotta look up what those things are because they can't be called nostrils. Nostrils have a specific purpose to pull air into your lungs.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that it functions like us.
Are fish smart? Catfish, no.
I don't know about that.
Catfish, no, because it don't even know if it's a cat or it's a fish. So you know that motherfucker not smart. Snappers probably pretty smart because they're expensive. So they know to charge a lot of money for themselves. They value themselves at least. They should be. They spend their whole lives in schools. Oh gosh.
Right. I knew there was gonna be that.
Oh boy.
I was hoping Baba wouldn't make that joke. And
no, I was not gonna go there at all. Oh, no.
Thank you for not making the school joke.
They have nares. Shit, I think we got some nair in the bathroom too. My wife, I'm sure she got a little bit. You remove them hairs you get on the leg.
What are nares?
I think he's talking about these things in the fish. These things.
Yeah, I know they got something there.
I was wrong. Fish have small holes called nostrils or nares. Nares, okay, that they use to smell. Oh no, they smell. These holes are located on the snout above the mouth and contain smell receptors in small sacs under the skin. Wow, they can smell underwater.
See, I said
now
something.
I didn't smell underwater. I don't know, but if you start breathing in the smell underwater, you're in trouble. Now, can you see underwater?
Can you?
Put a chat. Can you see underwater while you're submerged?
They wouldn't necessarily have to bring air in, even though as fish it could probably.
No, I'm saying, can you see? Can you see underwater?
No, you were saying something about smelling, like breathing in or something like that. I can't. A few minutes, a second ago.
Talking about. I said we can't breathe. I wondered if we could smell underwater, but we couldn't.
Oh, right.
Okay. Underwater. But I asked, can you see underwater? And somebody said, sure, yes, you can see underwater. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to. People wear goggles.
Right.
To see underwater. But anyway, and that's because they don't want chlorine now. There's no chlorine in the ocean. You're fine. Somebody said, yeah, with goggles. You don't need goggles to see either. It's better for you. But now you can't get debris in your eye.
I would imagine salt water in your eyes too.
Probably. No, I was fine. I was swimming in the ocean. I was fine. The salt didn't affect me, but it was like grit or something was in my eye. Maybe that was the salt. I was jacked up.
See,
my eye was hurting.
There's all kinds of pollution and stuff out there too now.
Yes,
so it's
not
the same.
As well as a mammal, is their blowhole considered to be a nose?
I don't think so.
I think so that the whales and dolphins, I think porpoises, they're swimming, they're eating, water gets in, they blow the water out of the blowhole. I know that.
Okay. Yapo.
Yes, but you can see underwater, but you can't underwater the sea.
Yapo, you are hurting your credibility.
Yeah. Woo. Too many auto dad jokes. Lee.
We're out of alignment now, Yapo. But thank you.
We're gonna change Yapo's name to Squidward. because he got a lot of jokes. So
Oh my
let's
goodness.
see here. All right. So debunking gun and knife BS. Debunking gun, knife, and bad joke. Let's see. Now we have an emotional attachment to carrying knives. And I don't think it's just the South. All my life, people I've known just carry knives, and either that was considered cool or it was just, what you do, women and men.
Yeah, boom.
My cousins, one of my cousins, she'd have the knife in her bra. We know in class, that's something the sisters have really developed, the bra strap, where to put the knife at, easily gotten to. Straight razor, for all intents and purposes, a knife. I knew so many men, like when I was a little boy, who were in their 40s or older, who carry straight razors. And you consider, my father carried a knife, but when you straight razor, you were a tough guy with a straight razor, right? And my mother carried a straight razor and a meat cleaver. She was known for having a meat cleaver.
Wow. Did she have like a case for it or something?
In her purse.
Oh, wow.
I remember a friend of hers, Miss Wilson. I'm gonna tell this story, Ma. My mother's 92, so it ain't nothing. She ain't worried about nothing happening anyway. But Miss Wilson got into a fight. One of Miss Wilson's daughters came and told her, I think, somehow she found out. So she took me. I'm a little boy. I'm like 4 or 5. She's holding my hand, walking with me. And in the other hand, she has a bag, paper bag. And I'm a little boy. I don't know what it is. Okay. We're going down to Miss Wilson's house. Yeah, we're going to Miss Wilson's. Yay, I see Miss Wilson fighting a lady on the porch and 2 women. My mother runs up on the porch, and she's using, it's like swinging the bag. You hear shit, pop, pop, breaking. The women running, she runs them off. And there was a big rumor around the neighborhood. My mother shot these 2 women. As a little boy, I'm like, "Mom, you shot me."
Emmanuel Briggs says, "I bet the paper bag had a little revolver pistol in it."
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a revolver. So everybody was saying she shot him because you hearing shit breaking, pop, pop, you're popping, right? That was them getting hit with the meat cleaver. She had a meat cleaver in there, and she's hitting them with it in the bag. So they didn't know what was going on, but they knew they were getting tore up.
Right.
And then she said, "Come on," and she walks me back to the house. She's holding that out, probably because it was dripping blood. She's holding it out like this.
Wow.
People screaming all down the block and shit. We go in the house, and next day I'm hearing all these rumors. My mother shot these 2 women, but she didn't shoot them. It was a meat cleaver. I asked her.
You were there.
She said, no. She said, that was a meat cleaver. I was hitting them with the meat cleaver.
That's what's up.
And that was her thing. She carried that meat cleaver, goddamn, probably until she was about
70.
About 60 something.
Wow.
When she had her stroke. So she stopped carrying when she had a stroke, I guess.
That is a very Chicago story, if anyone is not aware.
Well, I had a poem.
Here in Chicago.
I had a poem that said, I talked about my father. I said, Daddy was a bad motherfucker, but Mama was twice as bad. I said, Daddy was a sledgehammer to your sternum. Mama was a stiletto to your kidneys, right? And so the poem went on like that, talking about how they were, and they literally got put out of back in the day at clubs, it was live bands. They got put out of every club on the south and north side of Chicago. West side didn't have none because it was just, west side always been just super violent and shit. But no, I think west side had some. They probably got put out of those too. And that's just the way it was, That's the way life was back then. All right. So anyway, and that ain't no knife myth. That's the truth. So people always, have carried knives around me all my life. You know, that's it's like an emotional attachment to them. I don't know with all cultures, but definitely with black folks.
Yeah, bro.
And many purchase their knives based on their perceptions of how well the knife performs in self-defense. We buy expensive knives thinking that a $300 blade will make you safer than that $50 one. The truth is, we are far more likely to use our knives, the $300 one and the $50 one, for opening Amazon and UPS packages than opening someone's flesh in a self-defense or close quarters combat situation.
Yeah, bro.
In fact, I always got to tell my wife, do not use my knife to open no box. I'll give you a knife, but I don't want my knives dull. They got to always be sharp and ready.
And that stuff on the box is just so, you know, in case anyone is doing that, it's that gummy stuff stays on the blade.
Right.
So you don't want to.
So it will dull your blade. Imagine that stuff just covers your edge
Right.
of the blade, and so you just cutting somebody with gum. It's not gonna work. It's like hitting somebody with those big ass boxing gloves on.
Yeah, bro.
It's not. So today we're going to debunk myths about the knife and the gun because they go hand in hand. People, getting them both. Most people who carry a gun also have a knife, especially here in Georgia,
where anything goes.
Right, exactly. In Chicago, it's not legal to carry a firearm, but it is legal to carry a knife over, some places under 4 inches. I believe in Illinois it's over 4 inches.
Oh, it must. So you
conceal.
can't conceal it. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Today we are going to debunk myths about the knife and the gun and determine if one or the other, both or neither, should be carried for your self-protection and the protection of your loved ones. So let's get into it, and just remember, in your state or country, wherever you live, check those laws to see what you can carry too.
Yeah, bro.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into it.
So one of the kind of sayings or slogans that we've talked about on this show is "I'll just shoot him." Very simple thing. Pistols reign supreme in the world of concealed weapons, but they don't solve every problem. The knife world and the gun world overlap quite a bit. Plenty of people who carry firearms for personal defense also carry some form of blade. Knives and guns are sold and advertised through the same venues and publications because it's a good idea to carry both. People, however, put a lot of false confidence in their guns. Hollywood has us programmed from day one. We all know the famous scene from Indiana Jones where the sword-wielding bad guy is showing off with his blade in hopes of intimidating Indy, only to have the fight cut short by Dr. Jones drawing a revolver and gunning him down before casually moving on. Scenes like this have led to people saying over and over again, "I just shoot him." People who think the answer to a knife attack is an easy cookie cutter solution don't understand the nature of edged weapon attacks. If an attacker truly wants to do damage and not just threaten you, he's going to be in ambush distance by the time you see the weapon. You might be able to get a shot off, but the knife attacker is still getting one or more thrusts into your body or a slash at your throat at close range. If you decide to train in knife attack defense, and you should, practice techniques that prioritize life-saving, empty-handed skills first and a firearm response second.
Now, real quick, Yapo, do not drop to the ground if there's a rush towards an exit body to body. Stampedes kill people all the time. That's one of the most dangerous. You can be crushed, but you can move. You have a better chance of moving where your body's not crushed if you're body to body with people. But if you fall to the ground, them stepping on you, that people die every year from being stampeded, and not by like buffalo. I'm talking about by human beings.
Yeah, bro.
So no, don't drop to the ground. Now, dropping to the ground does apply if you're 21 feet or less from a knife wielder and you have a gun. So after this episode, look up the 21-foot rule. It seems like, no, hell no, 21 feet, which states at 21 feet, a knife wielder will get off a life-threatening attack before that gun wielder, if it's in their holster, can pull it from their holster and get a deadly shot off. We pressure tested this. When I first learned about it young, I was like, I don't know about that one. I'm a good shot, blah, 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 blah. And in pressure testing it, we discovered that's very true. And Ominiki's been there. When I'm talking about the 21-foot rule.
Yeah, bro. Absolutely.
The way you deal with the 21-foot, a person from 21 feet, and they have a knife out and they're attacking. When you draw that pistol, as you're drawing, that's when you're dropping to the ground on your back, which means you got to learn how to fall. You fall into your back and you fire between your legs and hit them because they're charging at you up top. To change their angle takes time. So that's what you have to do.
It's going to change the strategy too, what they were planning on doing with that knife.
Right, exactly. So their mind now has to work to change things, right? Change their reality. You change their reality for them. And that's what you want to do in combat, period, or in a self-defense situation. The beginning of the self-defense situation you're in, you're the victim. That must change quickly to them becoming the victim. So you change the reality. That forces them to have to go ahead and do a 180 with their thinking.
Right.
So like shit. It's hard to go 90 degrees with your thinking, but 180, very difficult.
Absolutely.
Whereas that's your plan from the beginning. So you're winning that situation right there. Okay. So anyway, now the knife duel fantasy. That's another myth. That's another BS. We already talked about the I'll just shoot him. I'll just shoot him dude, right? Now let's talk about the I'll just shoot him dude distant cousin, the I'll just cut him dude.
West Side Story.
Right. Exactly. West Side Story, beat it. Beat it. There's something about bladed weapons that draw people from every culture. Every culture. The knife industry would not be as huge as it is if knives were a niche fad. When it comes to combat, wrestling is the most popular, second only by the knife. Talking about worldwide. In the United States, the gun is the most popular. Okay. But worldwide, it's wrestling, then it's the knife. But with that love comes a kind of person who imagines they might save the day with their coveted everyday carry knife. You hear everyday carry, you see EDC, everyday carry. The I'll just cut him dude most likely collects blades in a similar way that the gun dude collects firearms. I'm saying that myself, I got a bunch of firearms, I got a bunch of knives. So I'm both those dudes, but I'm not romantic about my approach. Okay,
you're not a coward.
No, definitely not a coward.
Yeah.
But not a just cut him or just shoot him dude either.
Right.
He or she may carry a firearm too, right? The just cut him dude, but they tend to place a heavy focus on knives they carry. Knives are cool, but the people that fall into this knife dueling fantasy are those that start daydreaming about how they may realistically react to a conflict knife to knife. That mug bring a knife, I pull my knife, he cuts, I go low, cut his femoral, you come up, cut him under, stab him on the arm. I'm not exactly sure where this fantasy started, but I figure it gets perpetuated most by action movies.
I think that's where it started.
Knife versus knife fantasies usually have limited martial blade training and do not know what actual knife combat looks and feels like. Knife altercations tend to be an ambush. Your attacker is more likely to conceal their weapon until they are right up on you, rather than present that mug in plain view to signal a fight. Unlucky for you, that means it will be likely far too late for you to draw your beloved $800 Damascus steel blade in time. Even if you find yourself in a situation where you and some fool start with drawing knives, there isn't going to be any pretty choreography. Just violent, unpredictable, and bloody gross motor attacks happening at blinding speed.
Yeah, bro.
Your attacker doesn't need any skill at all to kill with a knife, and even if you do win, the chances of you being permanently maimed or disfigured is high. Knife attacks are not romantic.
Absolutely. Also, knife defense in martial arts. You could spend years talking about the hundreds of corny, ineffective cosplaying martial arts schools and systems out there. Normally, these schools are quite harmless. The most they do is make us cringe and laugh, and as silly as they might be, give a group of people a place to belong and work out. Where I think the comedy stops and my concern begins, however, is in the instruction of knife defense and firearm disarms, which we see all over YouTube. The first thing you should investigate when looking to study any martial art for self-defense is if the school pressure tests their techniques. This can be in the form of sparring or scenarios. If they don't or refuse to do this as a regular feature of their classes, run. The most effective way to see what and what doesn't work is through a combination of fast, committed attacks and a training blade that can mark where you cut and get cut. A marking blade is a great way to get real data on how injured or dead you might be. It also tells you when you improve, less marks, your ability to stop knife attacks.
Yeah, so we were at the African Martial Art Conference 2005, and Mwanzo, martial art instructor, excuse me guys, my daughter was in here and my wife was getting, I'm sorry about that. We were at the first conference, and Mwanzo decides to host a knife fighting competition. I tell my students, you are going to get in this competition, and don't stay humble when you win, because you're all going to win. Just stay humble, and we take it as a chance to teach as opposed to having bragging rights. Because what's bragging rights in a knife encounter? I killed somebody and they didn't die. It's not romantic, right? I said, so look at it that way. So, sure enough, everybody has their students in there, but I knew, because our whole class is a knife culture. It's what we do, what we've always done since I was a child. And so I don't even know no other way to teach. So our culture is a knife culture. So when you ask, are there any rites of passage on the continent that involve the knowledge of using knives? Absolutely. So for hunting and otherwise. Okay. Knife, bow, all of it, depending on the culture that you're talking about. Spear, sword. Every last one of my students won. And I knew that was going to happen. It's not bragging. It's just nobody else there just came from such a knife culture.
Right.
Where we always have knives. Even my 15-year-old, you see her, most of the time you see she got a knife on her. Well, and my son who, just graduated from Hampton, they always have a knife on them because that's just the way they were raised. Always have a knife. Why wouldn't you? At any time during class, I'll say, everybody toss one of your knives. Some days I say toss two of your knife on the mat. People there like, oh shit. And I always do it when somebody from another school comes by, because I want them to know this is about mindset. Okay.
Right.
What's everybody saying nowadays? They not us.
Right. From the Kendrick.
Right. It's just the truth of that, right? So
absolutely. That is so true.
So when they, when they won, I wasn't surprised, and neither were they. But everybody was like, "Oh, they're surprised," except Mwanzo, because his students they have a strong knife culture too. So it's about mindset a lot. So that marking blade, when we talk about it, so that you get the blade. So you've seen our blade that's kind of rounded, the training blade. Well, this one has like I don't know if it's felt, but around it is felt, and you can put dye on that, like red, blue, whatever. Usually red to represent blood, right? And so when you're getting hit with it, everywhere you hit, it's a red mark. So a person can say you didn't hit me.
Right.
We got you, And now the way Mwanzo did it too, depending on the cut, if the cut was in where one of the tendons at, he's like, you can't use that arm no more because that arm's been eliminated. Right. So now you're down to one arm. If that was your knife wielding arm and it got hit, you can use your left now or your right, depending on where you're done. You can use the other hand. So my students, they would boom, hit the arm first, boom, hit the leg, boom, boom, both of them. So now, oh shit, one leg. So now you gotta fight with a limp. And people were doing stuff like, I remember Kunle was sparring with this one brother. The brother did a front roll, tried to cut him. I'm like, you gonna front roll during a knife encounter?
Right.
You don't understand the blade and how dangerous it is, and when it touches you, it'll open you up.
Right. So
people learned that day, and I'm glad that I had to talk with them earlier so they wouldn't be like, get a job out of here. Because that's what we do to each other in class. I said, just be humble and teach. So right after that, they got people to the side teaching them what to do.
That's good. I was going to say, Baba, I was watching last night, I was watching Yellowstone. It just happened to be on. And there was a knife, or at least a knife. Someone threatened someone with a knife. And I was kind of impressed. I don't know if I noticed it the first time, but I had seen it because I'm sure I'd seen the episode before. But they were fairly realistic when dealing with, how the person defended themselves. They were very close and this person supposedly has a military background on the show. So he just basically grabbed the wrist of the person and stopped them from being able to use the knife. And then he beat him down, basically. But one thing that I didn't agree with was that he grabbed the knife out of the man's hand and then threw it, kind of while they were in the middle of the thing. Right. And I was like, I don't think it would drop eventually. I mean, after you hit him a few times, he's not going to be holding on to that knife anymore like that.
And if I grab a knife from you, wait, like he tossed it away?
Yeah, he tossed it into the back of a truck, back of a pickup truck.
No, unless a whole lot of people watching and filming me, I'm gonna give you your knife back, and that's all I'll say on that.
Yeah, there was a lot of people around, but I don't think that was a factor in the logic of this character. But yeah, so it was decent. Not too bad. Not as bad as a lot of the things that you see on, these shows when people are.
Now, a lot of people, they'll talk about the movie The Hunted, with Tommy Lee Jones, and I forget the dude's name. He has a Spanish name. I forget his name.
I haven't seen that one.
That shit's so unrealistic. They like, but they're special forces. Yeah, I was too, and it'd have been beautiful to get into a beautiful fight like they were doing. Pity patting the person away, and you pity patting the knife away. It's not like that. You knock it away now as you're cutting, but all this pity pat. Stabbing him up through the arm. He taking that blade out and fight. If somebody stabs you up through this arm, the blade comes out through your bicep, and you pull it out and you're using it. Bullshit.
You are done.
Bullshit. When I was in the Nation, the way I started teaching the brothers in Chicago, Mosque number 2, Brother Ronald was teaching, older brother, and I had said, I would like to, teach the brothers one day. He said, we ain't just giving nobody over to you. I'd heard about you. You good. We're not just giving the brothers over to you. I was new, so I'm cool. And me and Ryan ended up being real cool. Ryan's just a hard brother like that, right?
And that's good.
He was teaching class one time, and this is how I started teaching. And he said, somebody stabbed you, you go, you block here. Never do a hard block on a knife, y'all. I'm telling you. I don't care what your art is and what you think. If you do a hard block on a knife, you're going to get cut. You don't understand how knife works. I'm telling you now. And to make this more real for you, you have an open invitation to come to our school and block. Well, you not use no damn real knife. Unless that's what you want to go there. A training knife, and do a hard block and see what happens. And after you get cut, don't get mad, because we're going to cut your arm, probably your throat with the training knife.
Absolutely.
And then we're going to all be laughing and joking. And don't get mad.
Right. Don't leave.
And take that back to your students, because I'm telling you right now, I don't care what your art is. Call it what you want. From jiu-jitsu to karate to aikido to Wing Chun or whatever. If you block a knife, you're going to get cuts. You don't block knives. You deflect knives. There's a whole different mindset once again. But anyway, those things we want to be realistic when we're dealing with knives. And this is why we're debunking a lot of stuff.
Right.
I wasn't going to go there on that, but another thing too, I noticed in your mind, you can always run away.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But you can change that to, just run away. All these that we've dealt with really been just. Any just is bullshit. Any just is usually said by people who don't know any better. Of course, the best course of action is to avoid a violent encounter, period. So you ain't got to run away. That's the best. But you can't say just avoid it because sometimes you can't. I remember our first episode, there was a young brother who's like, just chop him in the back of the neck. Just chop his hand. Just chop. I said, God damn, you's a chopping mug, ain't you? And I knew he didn't know because it's just chop. Just knee him in the nuts. Just shoot him. Just do so. Just do a somersault over his kick. Just step onto his sword blade and run towards him, and then kick him in the face. Just is always some bullshit.
Yeah, it's oversimplified.
Right, oversimplified. Yappa said just no. He said just as long as you don't tell me that all the fight scenes in John Wick aren't real. I won't tell you. I won't tell you. What I'll say is use them, film it, and send that shit to me. Yeah, because if you pulling those John Wick moves off, I am going to be happy as hell, and I will be training with you shortly after that, whether you want me to or not. Because we'll kidnap you, bring you here. Because damn, if you can pull off John Wick stuff, I'm still messing with y'all telling me last week that Santa Claus wasn't real. Oh, and let me say this too. I know that hurt a lot of people to learn that Santa Claus is not real. You know, I know that hurt you. I'm sorry. But just as Santa Claus isn't real, most of the knife and gun shit on here isn't real. And so that may hurt you too, but it'll keep you alive.
Absolutely.
Believing in Santa Claus at 30, 20, that could get you harm too. Especially if you share that with others. So
right.
But now
running away. You know 30 and 20. The people in Heart Chat aren't 20 and 30.
We believe in some crazy shit at 20 and 30 now.
No, that's true.
That's worse than Santa Claus. All right. So anyway. Avoiding knife fighting by running away or a gunfight. I think people know you ain't running away if a person pull a pistol on you. Running, you may try. I've seen somebody try to run. In fact, I know 2 people personally who tried to run from the dude who pulled a gun. We were all, I was, I think, 19 at the time, so they were 20, 21. They both got shot. They both got hit in the back, tore up their, luckily, both of them missed their kidney, but it tore their intestines up. They both had to have pieces of their intestines removed.
And that's definitely.
My boy Donald and my boy Ferg. Wow. So if y'all watching or folks from the neighborhood, y'all remember that too, I'm sure.
And say, like Bob always says, you give up your back, you become an ancestor.
Now, no, I won't say that. That's judgmental. The reason why Ferg was dealing with this dude's woman, the dude confronted Ferg. Instead of Ferg saying, I'm sorry, so-and-so, he said, yeah, you got to know how to sling that dick better. Wow. And dude said, oh, yeah, I don't know. I know how to sling that dick better, but I can sling these bullets.
Right.
And Donald, who is my friend and Ferg's friend, boom, hit the dude. And he thought that would be it. These karate myths. Donald was a world champion wrestler, but I ain't talking about professional. I'm talking about real wrestling, but freestyle and Greco. But his punching was, and judo experts, but his punching was piss poor. So he did hit the dude. The dude, boom, shot both of them. We hit Ferg first as Ferg is running. And then Donald knew to take off. And Donald is zigzagging. Right. Zigzagging is a pattern too, y'all, by the way. So the dude just timed this shit and bow, hit him too. Both of them got hit in the back. Luckily, it was just their intestine. It wasn't their spine. or it didn't go through and hit the liver, which you only got one liver, nothing like that. So they were lucky. But you say, well, how do I run from a gun? You don't. How do I run from a knife? You don't. So most spaces where knife attacks happen are compact and or cluttered with obstacles, providing a poor line of movement to run and evade an attacker. Additionally, there is a chance the attacker is the faster runner than you. People don't never think about that shit. If you're running from me, I can't run like I did when I was in high school. I had Olympic times in high school in the 200 and the 400 and close in the 100. But in my late 40s, I beat all of my students who thought they could handle me because I was older. I'm still pretty quick. At 50, I beat my son, who challenged me all kinds of stuff. I ate him up. Ate him up at running and in North Carolina at dancing. Ate him up. So
we just had the anniversary of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means that Koya and Bakin just had their anniversary.
Yeah, exactly. Congratulations, Koya and Bakin. Yes.
Shout out.
So most of the time it's up close. You're not going to be able to, and the runner may be faster than you. Always assume your opponent is faster, stronger, smarter, has more endurance. Assume that.
That's why you train.
Okay.
Right.
So if they're faster, that could result in you being stabbed in the back of your neck, or in your backside. Any back is not good, because if you give your opponent your back, you become an ancestor. This is why training to deal with a knife attack, be it empty hand or with the weapon, should be a priority in your training. It's easy to dismiss direct action in favor of fleeing, but most of us ain't Usain Bolt. You best learn to defend yourself against a tool and pressure test that shit. So, person pulls a knife on you. Most of the time, they're not pulling a knife; they're just walking up. You had a time so that they go to hit you. Well, this is why you need to be able to, and that's why Omaniki said earlier, empty hand first. So you deflect that shit, then you pull. Boom. Now you pull. Whether you have a knife, a gun, pocket sharp, a stick, whatever it is you got. But you deflect that blade first. If they're hitting you up close, like you ain't even going to be able to grab it. You can deflect it and get off the X. We talked about that before, right? Get off the X. Either this way or this way. Get off the line of the attack.
Yeah, boom.
Most attacks, if they slashing, which is most common with attacks, is not thrusts. And these are actually more dangerous than a thrust. Most attacks are spaghetti bowl-ish. So you're probably not grabbing it, but you can deflect it. Now you say, well, they moving the spaghetti bowl like this. You deflect and grab. And we're going to deal with that, the physical aspects with the knife. Maybe next episode. We've dealt with it before, but really just to grab it, floor them, and get away. You know what I mean? So you want to grab that and control that, because you may take one cut. You cannot take two. You cannot take two. So you grab it, but don't grab it with your hand like this and think he's not going to be able to snatch it away, because if he snatches away, it's going to open you up bad.
Right.
You got to grab that and bring it to your body, which means you got to close on them. Against a knife, you either have to be very far away or very close. Yeah. Most times you have to be very close, because a mug is saying, I'm going to cut you, sucker, from across the street. In their mind, they say, I'm going to cut you, sucker. And they get close, and then they go for the cut, okay? Somebody said, I'm nice and I've never been in a fight at 35. Most of my issues are mental battles with people like nosy, over entitled neighbors, always worried about what I'm doing, or frenemies talking behind my back. Okay, that's good. Niceness, once again, if you deal with a combatant, your niceness means nothing.
Right.
Because what I see when a person is nice, I understand that niceness is a strategy of social interaction. It is not a character trait.
It should be.
Right. It's not a character trait, though.
Some people are not using it as that. Yeah.
So it's still used in social interaction, though. It's still a strategy, whether it's for good or bad. Because it's certainly not a character trait. The person's not a nice guy. They're being nice.
Right.
They're being nice. A person is not charming. That's not a character trait. They're charming you. Think about that shit in its proper context so you understand there's a strategy being used on me.
Absolutely.
And so that's cool. A person knocks on the door. I say, yes. They say, hey, I'm here to deliver this package to your wife. Excuse me, what? Man, I'm here to ask, do you like my goddamn tie? And the tie looks like crap. Yeah, but he got a shotgun. You like my tie? I love your tie, sir. Would you like some coffee too? I'm gonna be nice as hell.
Absolutely.
But the moment he lowers that firearm and looks somewhere else, I'm on him. Then I'm tearing his ass up. Then I'm tying him up. And then if the authorities are called, I'm gonna be nice when they get here too. I'm gonna be nice, meek. I'm so glad you got here. I need. Right. If I had on a martial arts shirt, I'd take that mug off and put on a
nice sweater.
I'm glad to still be alive. You know what I mean? And I'm so glad you here, sir. I'm so old, sir. I'm so glad you here, sir. I don't know why she pulled a gun in here, sir. I don't even know how I stops it. And then he can go, like, man, that was old dumb old nigga. Old country nigga. I ain't even from the South. I live in the South, but so use strategy how you can use it.
Yeah, bro. It's funny. Yapo said, I'm sorry, excuse me.
I was just say, and one strategy is running, but sometimes it's not running.
Right. Iapo says, I think as a joke, but actually this is, I think good, is there's no I in nice. It is a terrible joke, yes. But also, think about, you don't really want to be putting yourself into nice. That is a strategy, but that's not really you. People who tend to think of themselves as nice and who aren't using it as a strategy tend to be naive.
Right.
Now, what you want to be that.
What you want to be is noise. Noice. Noise. So when you work, boom, you knock a mug out, people say, damn, that was noise.
Right.
That's what you want to be.
Noise on the mic.
Right. Noise on the mic. Noise when you dance. Right. Noise. The way you dress, you want to be noise, but not nice. It's
funny. This is completely off topic, but I was watching the Tribe Called Quest documentary years ago, and Q-Tip talked about how in New York, when you said you were nice, that meant that you were high on cocaine. So that makes you think differently about, the people who like Greg Nice, D Nice, the people who came out with nice as their name, because he was going to call himself like J Nice or something like that, some variation of the nice thing. And he said, no one said anything, but his uncle knew what nice meant. And he was like, you're not calling yourself that. And he would not let him name himself that. So he became Q-Tip instead.
Now, Greg Nice, that's my boy. Greg Nice! Ooh, yeah, Greg N-I-C-E! Dominant Basso! Oh, we. That's my shit. Dwick is the job now. But anyway, Yapo says, real question. Do people with guns tend to feel more confident than maybe they should? Absolutely. Especially like down here.
Yeah, great question.
They ain't never been to the range. We're gonna deal with that too in a minute. But never been to the range, but they confident they got that gun in their purse, in their backpack.
Right. That they gotta go get to it in the car.
Right. In the car, exactly. Exactly. In fact, one of my students, she's getting in the car and the dude like is about to accost her. And so she's trying to really get in the car now because that's where her firearm's at.
Right.
Luckily, she was with somebody else that runs around. I don't know if he grabbed hers or had his own, but he runs around towards the dude, like, get up out of here, you know, and the dude leaves. And I said, why is your gun in the car? He said, I knew you were going to say that. I know. Don't ever, but why have it? Now, you could have one in the car, but have one on you, too. I'm talking Atlanta now. Right. In Chicago, you ain't walking around with no pistol unless you the police or you really bold with it. No, when I was young, I used to not walk around. Well, yeah, I walk around I had a revolver. That mother was I bought it from a friend of mine, and it was like a big old, well, it was a Western pistol, right? They didn't call them revolvers then, but they're revolvers. And this thing was huge. They don't look that big in the movies because they cut them down so it looks nice, right? Right. But this thing was huge and it was terrible. I mean, it'll kill you, but I'm walking around this big, so I'm trying to find ways to hide it and always scared because in Chicago, even if you own a firearm is in your house, you shoot somebody, like say they broke in your home while you're there, and you shoot them at the door and they fall out, you can go to jail. So you got to shoot them, run up, pull them inside. That's a running joke in Chicago because that's the truth. Because if you blow them back out the house, you are in trouble probably. Security guards who are armed security guards, when they go to work in Chicago is, now I say Illinois, I don't know I think Illinois is a little different, but in Chicago, security guard has to have the firearm. I'm trying to remember because I have my blue card, but blue card is so you can carry a firearm on duty as security guard. We had to have the firearm in the car, the bullets in the trunk, or vice versa. That's crazy. So you ain't using that, and that gun cannot be loaded.
I think it was like that here until the law changed recently.
Oh no,
Yeah, no. You had the gun had to be it couldn't be loaded, and why can't I think of the word? The ammo had to be in a separate location. I remember reading that when I was driving Lyft. Yes.
Shit, I was in violation all the time. I was driving.
So was I, Baba. But I knew what the law was.
Wow. Well, now
it's not like that now.
I mean, shit, you don't even have to register to get a firearm in right. Georgia now. Mm-mm. You just go in the store and buy that bad boy.
Right. They still got the background check, but you don't have to register it.
No. So, I mean, it's crazy. See, when I carry, I know I have to be more level-headed and try to de-escalate any conflict I could wind up in. We should do that anyway. There's a fine line between self-defense and manslaughter. Whether you have a firearm or not, Raj, or knife or whatever, just your empty hands, you can kill somebody just by pushing, like, get away from me. They trip, fall, bust their head. So we should always strive to be level-headed and try to de-escalate any conflict. Just so you all know, if the conflict has started, it's much harder to de-escalate it than for it to escalate. Once it started, you're probably in it.
Yeah, bro.
Some conflict I found when I'm in a situation where there is conflict and it's about to be violent conflict. Now I'm not saying everybody do this, okay? But for me, what works is to go to the extreme. And I'm serious about what I say, but go to the extreme. Like when I told the dude, give me $5. I said, I don't have no money, brother. I said, man, I'll beat your ass. Some people look at the dude and say, damn, he's 6'8", whatever, you're a big dude. Here, $5. That wasn't in my mind. So I said to him, bro, I looked at him slowly. I said, man, I'll eat your soul. And I just kept staring at him. You dude crazy, and left. He said, well, you would really eat his soul? Well, of course, I would have tried to. He knew what I meant. I would have taken him off this planet if he tried to touch me in a physical way, specifically with violence I'm talking about. If he tried to be violent against me, I'm going to be violent against him. And I'm willing to test how far he's willing to go with his violence, but is he willing to test how far I go with mine? That has always worked for me, where most of the time I don't have to deal with them violently because this dude really didn't want to be violent. He just wanted to intimidate somebody into giving them some money.
Right.
Well, you got to show me.
Right.
And that, for me, that has worked. I don't know. So be real what works for you.
It works for you because it comes off genuine. When, when you're doing that to someone, like they can tell that this, you're really about that. Most people, they're gonna, huh?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Most people can't. The ones who aren't about that can't pretend that well. So when they're acting, it's a tough act, and you can tell it's a tough act. So then they'll get tested. But
That's
people who you could tell, they're for real about it, they're not going to get tested like that.
Now, my father was, you're talking about another level. So if the dude said, man, I'll beat your ass, my father would just slap the shit out of him. Well, come on. I'm not that bold. He just go in it. Oh, you can tell me you beat my ass, but we in it now.
Right.
That's how he was. Bow, bow. And he would let the dude run if he's going to run, but if the dude wanted to, fight, or even if he defended himself to my father, okay, we're in a fight then. So I'm going to move that out of the way. Bow! Throw you. He was like that. I'm not that extreme. Right? I would prefer you going about your business, because even in the midst of fighting you, shit, I may, dislocate my finger or something. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't have fingers like my father. This is my index finger. This is my father's index finger. I don't have thick ass fingers like that.
Right.
That, his ain't going to break when mine may. I hit a dude, in fact, and knocked my knuckle down to here. That's why this knuckle is flat. Well, I got big knuckles, but this one is so flat. Because my ring finger. I hit this dude, boom, in the temple. He flips, over. I was like, oh, shit, I think I can kill this dude. So I left, of course. And you say, well, did you? I don't know. I left because I was scared. I was scared for my life.
Yes.
So I left. And but my hand was fucked up. That's called a boxer's fracture.
Right.
Okay.
And that story actually takes us into the next myth, Baba, which
Yeah.
is in those encounters that just one person wins and one person loses.
Right.
Any violent encounter involving tools can be deadly. Shootouts can just as easily result in debilitating injuries and death. But compared to edged weapon fights, shootouts have more of a binary outcome. The chances of a person using a firearm to stop a violent encounter without being injured themselves is far higher than it is if a person is using a knife. Why is this? Two people facing off with blades easily turns into a chaotic, bloody bender in which everyone gets cut. So even if you are the victor, so to speak, you still
Right.
leave with injuries and quite serious ones.
Yeah. I was fighting this dude, Vimp, protecting this sister. My boy Greg, it was his baby's mother. Uh, they had broke up. She was dealing with this guy um, who had let her wear his leather jacket. Her and Greg were working things out. She decides she want to go back with Greg. So dude's pissed. He wants the jacket. Well, one of her friends runs said, uh, Quiz, that was my nickname. Quiz, whatever the dude, I can't remember his name. He over there handling, I won't say her name, handling her because of the jacket. You know, she gave him the jacket back, but he just mad that she's going back with Greg and he throwing her around. So I go over there and I did one of my father's moves. Bah, slap shit out the dude. Leave her alone, man. So I said, go ahead and you go back to Greg's spot. I didn't say that, but I said, go take her back. Right? Because I said that, I know it's a fight. Well, the dude, he has like 5, 6 friends with him. And this one dude, Vimp, you know, that's they hitter. He's like, this nigga gonna come over here. This nigga gonna come over here. And so he said, pop the trunk. So when he says pop the trunk, well, no, the ex-boyfriend says pop the trunk. Vimp goes over to the trunk like he gonna pop the trunk. So I go over there, bah, pop him. You ain't opening no trunk on me, partner.
I know, that's right.
You pull whatever. And so he turned around and we in it. And I'm tearing his ass up.
And that's again the danger of it being in the car, in the trunk, or whatever, where you got to get to it.
Right, he got to get to it. I'm tearing him up. I'm smacking him in the ear, so he's losing his balance. He don't know what's going on. But I've been drinking, and the alcohol says suplex him. Right? So I grab him, pull him to my belly. Now he weighs about 100 pounds more than me, but I bring him up, and he's up in the air, beautiful. I'm about to suplex the hell of him like the alcohol said. And now when we suplex, I bring him up, we sit down, so he gets slammed. And so my thought is, okay, I'm about to sit down and slam his goddamn head into the ground. He's done. Well, hold on, my daughter over here. I love you too, boo. Hold on. So, I slammed.
He loves the stories
to the ground, but the alcohol also made my legs weak, and so I fall, and he falls on top of me. So I'm like, oh shit, this is bad. But I say he don't know what he's doing, so I'm gonna survive out of this. But I'm drunk. Normally I would up and over escape and roll him over. Instead, I decide I'm gonna fight from my back because the alcohol's still talking. You know, say fight from your back and show him how cold you are. And so he punches, headbutt, boom, breaks his knuckles on my head. He's stupid and untrained. Not just untrained, he's stupid and untrained. So he throws a punch with the other hand. Boom! Yeah! Both his hands are jacked up, so he falls over on me. And so I still have not thought up and over escape him and just knock him out with some elbow because I'm drunk. So from the ground, he's laying on top of me. I'm throwing punches. Boo! Boo! I said, see, boo, you don't mess with me. Boo! Why he on top of me? But I'm not thinking he got 4 other friends.
Right.
And they start putting the boots to me. I said, as soon as I get up, I'm tearing y'all up. I'm still not rolling them over like I know how to. I'm just getting boots to my head. Boots. And I started thinking, oh, shit. They're going to knock me out in a minute.
Right.
Oh, shit. And so then I up and over escape, roll them over, and I get up, and they take off. Bent's on the ground unconscious. Ambulance takes him, but ambulance also has to take me.
Mm-hmm.
I look like goddamn Frankenstein's monster. I'm all dizzy and shit. They gave me concussion. So, like you said.
All right, you won, but did you?
Right. It's like, damn. So in a violent encounter, you really want to avoid them if you can. And the takeaway too is don't be getting drunk. Hold on 1 second. Oh, my cup's here. I hit it from her. Don't be getting drunk while you gonna be out in the streets.
Right.
I'm sitting on my boy's porch and we getting drunk. And we on the west side of Chicago in the hood. So let me see. This is my index finger. This is my father's index finger. Any questions? Right, y'all. Anyway, next is I can shoot effectively through osmosis. When we talked earlier about people buy guns, but they don't even go to the range with the guns. Like you're disrespecting yourself and the gun, right?
Right.
I can shoot effectively through osmosis. The fact is, you don't need a knife or a gun for self-defense. I'm going to say that again. You don't need a knife or a gun for self-defense. I see somebody left after I said that. They ain't let me finish. You need skill. Most new gun purchasers spend about $500 on the gun and maybe $50 to $100 on ammunition. Throw in some accessories like hearing protection, and they will likely spend about $750 total on their purchase. And they then take the gun home, and it sits in the closet.
All right.
This was a big thing when it was the big buy an AR-15 thing out there. Everybody buying an AR-15. Nobody's going to the range. They just sitting in people's closets right now. Them mother make good baseball bats. Because you ain't getting shit with it. You ain't been to the range. You ain't training yourself. I know so many people like this. If you invest $750 in a gun, $200 in a gun, shit, that don't come easy to most of us, right? And gear, and never seek out the skill needed to use the tool. That tool is useless for self-defense, but it is a danger to you and your family. You don't know how to use it. You don't even know how to secure it, right?
Because the person who comes in your house could know how to use it.
Exactly.
Providing them with it.
If you are going to own a firearm, training from a professional instructor is an absolute necessity. Plan on spending a few $100s on a good 2 to 4 hour class. Better yet, invest in a small group private instruction with a local instructor that you vetted and meet up once a week for a couple of hours. That's better. So it's shorter time, but it's spread over longer, so it keeps on being reinforced in you. If you are skilled and able, please take the time to bring someone in need to the range. Train them how to properly hold, deploy, attack with, and defend against a knife. So, range with a gun, training in the class or at home with a knife. You got to know how to properly hold it, deploy it, attack with, and defend against it. Move your people to the right side of the barricade, y'all. Okay. Guns and knives are not toys. Don't just have them for having them sake. Don't just have them collecting dust. If you have a firearm right now, look at it. Is it dusty? When's the last time you cleaned it? Even if you've been to the range, when's the last time you cleaned your firearm? So I had somebody tell me you don't have to clean it. It's a good firearm. Are you crazy? And then like, oh, my firearm jammed. Like, yeah, I bet. One of my own students did that. They went to the range, shot. She didn't know how to clean. I believe you were there. She brought her firearm to class because it was jammed, her AR-15, and I cleared it for her. It was jammed up. It was just, I said, this thing is dirty as hell. That's why it's jammed. It's gonna happen again. But I showed her what to do. The people said, well, with a fire, with an AR-15, it's easy. You just pull back the charging rod. No. This thing was in a locked position. The bolt was open. It was bad. Couldn't do nothing to get. Couldn't even move the charging rod. And I'm gonna tell you what I did. Tap the stock on the ground. It cleared it. Okay. There was a round in it. That's very dangerous too. There was a round in there. Don't have a dirty firearm, y'all. But also know what you're doing when you're cleaning. So I had Mosin Nagant. You can't even get Mosin Nagants anymore because they were so cheap. Mosin Nagant is a Russian firearm. It's 7.62 by 91. It's more powerful than AK-47, which is 7.62 by 54. You can shoot through a tree trunk and hit somebody with a Mosin Nagant, but they're only $99. I should have bought 4 or 5 of those mugs. We got one. And when they ship them, it's a Russian firearm. The Russians, they ship them with this gluey, gunky type thing in it, and you have to clear that out with gasoline, really. And you have to clear it with gasoline, and you got to really clean it well. And I let somebody else clean it because I didn't feel like going through all the cleaning that needed. And he jacked up my fire. I think he actually took my boat and put it in his boat, but in his Mosin Nagant. I'm not sure, but my Mosin Nagant never worked again. My students gave me the money to get it fixed. It's only cost $100 to get it fixed, but I didn't. The person who was gonna fix it, they were so backed up. It was taking like a year to get it done. By the time I really forgot, then I gave the firearm to my daughter. Okay, so somebody said the 54R is a nasty round. Definitely is. It's still jacketed too. It's nasty. Like I said, you can shoot through a tree trunk and kill somebody on the other side.
He also says he has 3 of them.
Oh, Ross. Oh, wow. Hey, well, if you could send me a message, if you have a place where they can be gotten, message me at, and that's all I'm gonna say right here, but message me at African with a K, AFRIKAN martial arts. It's all one word at gmail.com. Raj, please. I'll put it in the chat too. But if you can't get them, don't say anything here. But just let me know. If you can.
Yeah, I would like to have that information too.
Yes.
Iapo says in the military, the first thing they taught us was take care of your weapon and it will take care of you.
Yes.
That's true of a lot of things, actually, but yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
But if you, and take care means train with it, clean it, store it properly, all of that.
Yeah, but
All of my firearms are in either a case or a sock. Don't just have, if your firearm is just out too, it's going to be collecting dust. You got to do even more cleaning. Even if you don't go to the range, it's going to collect dust. Don't let that happen. Your ammo, make sure it's stored properly. Okay.
and what does that entail? Storing your ammo?
Well, my ammo is in ammo cases. So, you see I think you see my green case.
Yes.
Ammo. You can get those ammo cases, I think about now. I don't know what they are, 'cause I got mine a while ago, but probably like $35, something like that. And that thing can hold a lot. So you can put boxes of ammo in there, or you can put actual magazines of ammo in there.
Okay.
I would say get more than one. Depending on how much ammo you have. I try to make it a rule to have at least 1,000 rounds for each firearm I have. But I get more than one type of ammo because I train students on at the range. So I have ammo that I use for training at the range, and then I have ammo that I use for self-defense in my home or out and about. Okay. So, and we went to the range one time. I was pissed. I use, so in the 45 rifle I have, 45 caliber rifle, I use my personal ammo. Do you remember that?
I think so. Yeah.
It's so expensive.
Right.
Oh my God. I thought I'd put the brass ammunition in there. I was like, oh shit. So, oh well. Well, at least I know, I know what it feels like to, shoot it now.
Right.
Whip that ammo in there as opposed to the brass ammo. So I just, had to eat that and buy some more. But so take care of your firearms and everything, you all.
The brass ammo is still effective, right, for self-defense, but it's just the better ammo is going to likely do more damage. So to speak.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Get the right one.
But yeah, brass ammo, steel jacketed, hollow point, it all kill you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or subdue an attacker with whatever your goal is. So it's fine. It's fine to have that. But if you can go beyond brass, if you can afford better ammunition, maybe we'll do a episode on ammunition. Because a lot of people don't know. They just go to buy ammunition. There's also, when you're dealing with ammunition, you're dealing with the grain is going to deal with the way that bullet hits because it's dealing with the speed of that round. Okay. All of that has meaning, and yeah, we'll do maybe we'll do that for the next episode. Because I won't show firearms, I will show ammunition.
Yeah, well.
Oh yeah. So maybe next week we can actually get together in the studio and do so. The studio has moved.
Right.
We haven't done an in-person one for the last couple. So it's moved.
It's in the process of moving.
Right right. So hopefully by next week if it's fully moved, then we'll do the one on ammunition.
Right. It
In my day,
possibly could be the week after next, though. I would think.
right.
Possibly.
And then the 22nd of June, once again,
Dr.
is
Shea.
in my day, the military used M16s. I don't know if they still use them. I believe they do. They used to jam easily, no matter how clean we kept them. But they also clear easily, right? As long as they clean. But yes, they would jam. If you also, so if you get a rifle and you want to be cool and get the extended clip. So my students and my wife, they got me a rifle for my birthday. Let you know we think differently around here.
They're not like us.
I know either they're gonna get me a dope ass hat, because I love dope ass hats, or they're gonna get me a firearm. It's always been that way. I love it. One time, a student got me an axe, and I'll be a happy camper.
Or a Starbucks gift card.
Yeah, Starbucks. Yes. Now back in the day, I don't mess with Starbucks no more because of their support of Israel. Okay, and the genocide of the Palestinians. So I don't mess with Starbucks anymore. My wife right here, she can tell you I love Starbucks, loved it, but she also tell you I don't mess with them no more. I don't mess with them. My daughter's like bye, yeah. Bye, don't mess with Palestine. I mean, with Israel. Yeah, free Palestine. So that's my daughter, Okikiola. Hold on one second. What'd you say? I can't walk you out in the middle of the show. Well, with the show about to end, so give me a couple of minutes. Yes. That was my wife asking my walking them out. I always do. And if you can do that, if you're married, if you have the wherewithal, the physical ability, if your wife is leaving out, try to walk them out. At least let people see your wife with a man. If I couldn't do it, then I'd want my son when he's in town to do it. Because, people need to know sometimes. They can't just step to, and that's not taking away the agency of a woman and nothing like that. There's truths to shit.
Yeah, Baba, let me just say, I went and got my hair done yesterday. I don't know.
It's fly too. Always fly, but yeah.
But so I was watching something that I wouldn't normally watch because they had like true crime type shows or whatever that they were playing, and it's interesting. So I was watching, I'm facing it. So I think they were playing the first 48, and there were these three young black men, like 17, 18 and 20 or something, and they decided they were going to rob someone. So they saw a house. The TV was right next to the window or something like, what I'm saying, something easy like that. So they decide, okay, we're going to rob this house. So they go up and knock on the door, and the woman who's in the house answers. It's like 2:00 in the morning. And she answers, right. And then the guy says, "Is there a nigga in the house?" And she says, "No." So they kick
no.
Right. I mean, so many things wrong about that. But so they kicked the door in. He's like, "Oh, well, that's our cue. This is him talking to the police about it." He's like, "That was our cue. Once we found out there wasn't a man in the house, they kicked the door in. She begging for her life. She bends down on the floor, puts her face down, and the guy shoots her like immediately. As soon as she acquiesced, he shot her. Yeah.
She had acquiesced when she said,
"Oh yeah," even by just answering.
Right.
Yeah, in the first place.
And they knew wasn't no dude there if she answered, because if my wife 2 a.m. answered the door, I'm like, dude, who's at the door? You're gonna hear my voice saying something.
Right.
Who's at the door? And if I don't hear and answer quickly, you're gonna then hear my footsteps running
Right.
down there.
Absolutely.
And if I don't see it, then you're gonna hear other stuff.
Look, I used to work with this older lady named Betty. She always had all kinds of advice. And one of her pieces of advice as a woman, you know, living without a man in the house is to have always have a man voice, like have a practiced man voice where if somebody comes to the door or something like that, you can, you know, go into your man voice where they can't tell whether or not. And she had a really good man voice, so she wasn't joking. Like that was one of her strategies.
Yeah, my wife got a deep voice, so you know she could do that. You know, hello, who is it? Excuse me, sir. I was wondering. Now here, when we first moved here, a dude rings the bell, and I'm gonna go so I can walk them out. But dude rings the bell and says, "I said yes." I didn't open the door. I'm saying through the door. He said, "Can you open the door, please?" Are you kidding? I said, "No, I cannot." So he said, "I'm here to check the water." I said, "Okay, well, go ahead around there." I'm thinking you talking about the lake, right? Go ahead. He said, "I need to check outside and inside." I said, "No, you don't. You're not checking in my house, dude." He said, "Oh, okay, well, have a nice day." Because I run to the living room window looking out to see who it is. So some dude about, you know, mid-20s or so. Week later, baby. Yes. So I came to check the water. I said, "You were here last week." "Yeah, we need to check inside too." I said, "Who is we? What company is this?"
Right.
He said something. I said, "I don't know who that is." "We're a private company." I said, "Oh, brother, no, sir. You ain't got to come back here."
Right.
And so it was a year. He thinks I'm gone. He sees Jamie get off the school bus and come in, but I'm in the house. Normally I meet her out there, but I was getting a line done for one of my books. I said, "Oh shit, Jamie," but she had already opened the door, came in. Luckily, though. Well, I won't say luckily. Either way, but this made him confident to come to the door again. Baby, I said, "This mother." I said, "Jamie, answer the door, but don't open it. Just say who it." I said, "Who is it?" He said, "I need to come and check the water." He said, "You need to check the water?" Said, yeah. Can you open the door, please?" "No, she can't open the door, dude. I told you don't come back here anymore. You cannot check the water inside." And that's the last time he's been by it. Mm-hmm. Now, at that time, my wife was pregnant. So I got a pregnant wife, teenage daughter, and this fool doing that. And so that's why I was saying, sometimes at least, I do it all the time, but sometimes at least walk your wife outside. Yeah, and sisters, if your man is weaker than sweet water, sometimes walk him outside. Walk him outside because, he may need some protection.
If you got a man, you need to walk outside. You might need to reconsider.
Oh, God. Oh, man. That's
But thank you for the compliment, Emmanuel Briggs. I would highly recommend my the lady who did my hair to anyone who is in the Atlanta area. So,
is she African or African?
No, she's not African. I think she's from Ohio. I mean, she's African like us. But
from Ohio, you talking about Ile Majay?
No, she's from New Jersey.
Oh, that's right. That's right. She is from New Jersey. I forget. Mm-hmm. All right, cool. All right, y'all. Well, thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Nikki, for joining me.
Thank you, Baba. I appreciate you.
We've had a good 3 years. Going on 3 solid years now. Yeah. All right. Thank you all. This year we're going to go into more guests and things of that nature. Got some ideas for things that we're gonna be doing. So thank y'all. Be careful out there.
Absolutely.
Remember, don't get romantic about your self-defense. Be realistic about your self-defense, and
Yes,
you'll be okay.
and use your voice
Yes.
in every situation, or in the right situation. Use
Funny,
strategy.
we have to teach children to do that, but obviously adults too.
Absolutely.
So be safe out there. Stay black or whatever it is that you may be.
Absolutely.
Love y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Free Palestine.
Absolutely.